This entitled mother has the compulsion to destroy everyone else's happiness. This lucky and not so lucky man gets a free upgrade, and the entitled mom won't let him get away with it. Happy birthday, today's your birthday, and on with the revamped show. The backstory. I have to go back a bit for that. In April 2018, it was the last day we had freezing temperatures and heavy snow. On that day, on my way home from work, I had an accident with my 2006 Ford Focus. I crashed into a driver in front of me because I underestimated the frozen road. Don't worry, neither me nor the driver I crashed into were harmed in any way. His car had a scratch in the back bumper, while my car's front bumper broke at the side. Police were called, we exchanged information, and that was the end of it. So I had to bring my car to the mechanic again, and I had enough of it. I owned the car for almost 2 years, and had to make several repairs already, so I thought whatever and try to get a new car. I brought my Focus to a friend of mine, who made a little extra money by repairing cars. A coworker of mine gave me a ride to work until I had a new car. I paid my share for the gas. Now to the present. Around a month ago I found a new car, finally. A car dealer had a deal where they would sell cars with daily admission for €10,000 less than the original price. After a short time thinking and some dealing with my bank account manager, I'm now the owner of a 2018 Ford Focus ST Line Sport Edition, completely black except for the roof and the top half of the side mirrors, which were red. The car is great, and when I bought it, he only had around 15 miles. Sorry for the long backstory. On to the actual encounter. After I bought the new car, I put my old Focus up for sale on an app called AutoScout24, where everyone can sell their cars for how much they want for it. Of course, depending on age, miles, etc. Most of the damages were fixed. Me and my significant other cleaned it inside and out, but I knew I wouldn't get much for it. So I put the base price at €350 with the option for bargaining. In my first post I told you that I live in the old town of my home city, so in order to not occupy parking spaces and to avoid parking tickets, I parked my car at my grandma's place in the driveway. Her house is on the countryside, so it won't bother anyone, and I could take good pictures for the ad. 2 days ago, while I was at work, I got a call from an unknown number. The guy left a message that he wanted to take a look at the car. I called him back, told him where the car was, and that we could meet there after my shift was finished. He agreed. After I'm done with my shift, I drove immediately to my grandma's place to wait for him. Me and entitled dad agreed on meeting at 15:30. I was there early, parked next to my old Focus, went inside to tell my grandma I sell the car today, and checked if everything was still alright. Entitled dad and entitled son arrived half an hour later than agreed, explaining the place was hard to find. I shrug it off because I could tell they weren't from around here. So me and ED take a look around the car. I explain everything to him, fix damages, etc. He asks me about how many miles, HP, etc., the usual stuff. While I talk with ED, I notice that entitled son wasn't paying any attention. The car was supposed for ES according to ED. The son rather likes to take a look at my new Focus instead. Damn, nice ride! Thanks. Can I take a ride? Now I'm very picky if it's about my new car, but who wouldn't? And by the way, I had a feeling he didn't have his driver's license for very long. Sorry, not happening. I just got the car a few weeks ago. Oh, come on. Let the boy have a little fun. Sorry, still not happening. And by the way, we were talking about my 2006 Focus, not my new one. But I like this car! You heard him! He likes this one! How about you sell us this one instead? Yeah, right. And how much would you pay me anyway? Well, the ad said €350. Yes, for the 2006 Ford Focus. Fine, I'll give you €3,000 for the new one. Are you serious? I paid €30,000 for that car. €30,000 was the original price, but with the deal I got it for $20,000. Well, you drove the car for a while and that's a price drop. Sorry, this is leading nowhere. We are done. I turned to my car, pulled the key out of my pockets, and just wanted to go home. Dad, I want the car! ED grabs me by the arm. You heard him. Hand over the keys. Now, I'm a little heavy build, but I'm still strong enough to fight if I have to. I said no, and I would recommend you let me go now. While my eyes were staring at ED, ES snatched the keys from my hand, unlocked the car, and jumped in. I immediately freed myself from ED and ran to the driver's door of my car. The little bastard locked the door so I couldn't get inside, so I did the only thing I could and stood behind my car to prevent him from leaving. He could only back out of the driveway. Tell your kid to get out of the car before I call the police. In the commotion, my grandma came outside.
What's going on?
Grandma, go inside and call the police. They're trying to steal my... I couldn't finish my sentence because ED shoved me aside so ES could drive away. Well, he surprised me. I hit the ground hard and they drove off in my car, while leaving their car behind. I immediately grabbed my phone and called the police. As I mentioned in the backstory, my new Focus was completely black except for the roof and the top of the side mirrors, which were red, which means that the car stood out amongst most, which are around our home city. It took the police 10 minutes to arrive. One of the officers took my and my grandma's statement, while the other one radioed his colleagues from the neighboring towns, the description and license plate of my car. About an hour later, ED and ES came back to the house with my car. The two policemen jumped them at sight, pulled them out of the car and cuffed them. ED tried to talk him and his son out of the situation by telling the police they only did a test drive. The police had none of their BS and escorted them away. They asked me if I wanted to press charges and I agreed. More importantly, I checked my car for damages. It had around 20 miles more than before, and I found ash and cigarette burns in my back seat. Stories like this make you never want to do a private car sale ever again. Fortunately, I've only ever had positive experiences, but let's say if 1 in every 4 people was an entitled parent, you know, that's worse odds than Russian roulette. So I don't know if I want to play that game. Do you think people like ED and ES ever go into these situations thinking, now Dad, if the situation comes up where I want to steal the car, and he stands behind the car so I can't drive away, remember to push him over so that we can drive on out of there? Or how much of it's just spur of the moment like, you know what, let's steal the car. Nothing could go wrong, especially if we're leaving our current car here, making our crime completely traceable. You know, they got halfway to the next town and they were like, man, we didn't think this through, we better head back. Oh, what excuse can we use? Yeah, let's say we were test driving it for an hour, that'll work. I had just got back from Afghanistan about a week ago and was heading home on my post-deployment leave to surprise my father. He did not know that I was back. When I got to the check-in counter, the lady told me that my flight was delayed due to mechanical issues and that they were trying to find a new plane for the flight. This is important later. 4 hours later, I'm boarding my flight. Now, the original plane did not have a first-class row, but the new plane did, and no one was seated in them. As a veteran, they allowed me and a few others to board the flight first. Once seated, I put my headphones in and waited for the flight to depart. After the flight was loaded, the flight attendant came on the speaker to tell everyone that the flight had the entire first class section open and that they would select seats at random to give people free upgrades for the flight. This is where everyone started to ask for the upgrade, some even getting belligerent, demanding an upgrade. I didn't mind my seat and honestly did not expect to get selected for the upgrade, but as the lady was going around listening to people bugging her for an upgrade, she came up to me. "Excuse me, sir, would you like to be upgraded to first class?" "Really? That would be great. I've never sat in first class before." "Well, it's your lucky day. Grab your carry-on and I'll show you to your new seat." As I'm collecting my belongings, the passenger behind my seat went hysterical.
What makes him so special that you gave him the upgrade?
"Ma'am, the selection was random and his seat was selected."
That's bullcrap. He already got to enter the plane before me and my daughter, even though I was Zone A. How much more does he need?
"Ma'am, I'm sorry, it was random." Me to the attendant. "It's okay. I consider my normal seat and she can have the upgrade."
My daughter needs an upgrade too then. Just give her a random upgrade too.
"Ma'am, the seats have already been selected. I can't remove someone else for your daughter. You'll have to stay in your seat." At this point, the flight attendant took me to the first class seat and I sat down. She asked me if I wanted anything to drink and that everything was complimentary. So I ordered a beer and a bag of chips and put my headphones in to enjoy my one and only time in first class. Fast forward to being in the air. An hour has gone gone by and I'm asleep when I feel someone tapping me on the shoulder. I wake up and it's the crazy passenger from before.
I'll take that seat now.
Well, I'm already settled and the flight attendant already told you no.
Okay, how about you get out of the seat right now? I'm a mother, so give it to me.
I'm agitated at this point. With all due respect, no, I'm going to stay here. After that, EM leaves and I put my headphones back in. A few minutes later, EM returns and pulls my headphones out of my head.
You're going to give me the seat.
She then collects my phone and Kindle off of the tray and stands up. Now I'm furious because she just yanked my headphone off and took my belongings. So I get the flight attendant's attention and explain what's going on. Ma'am, please return to your seat. I don't want this to escalate any further.
This is freaking ridiculous. Just because he's a soldier doesn't mean he should get whatever he wants.
I'm a Marine, by the way. EM then threw my belongings on my lap pretty hard, but I just sat there quietly until she went back to her seat. I apologized to the flight attendant for the trouble, and she told me that situations like this is why they never really give free upgrades during a flight. The rest of my flight went normal, and I was able to surprise my dad. They often show that in movies, the whole, hey, you get upgraded to first class for free, and I do wonder how often that actually happens. I'm sure it happens every day on some flight somewhere, but I've never seen it happen. The closest I got was arriving early and getting to choose my seat, and getting to choose to go on the emergency lane where you had extra leg room. I'm a little surprised that the entitled parent didn't just leave their child behind and take the free upgrade. But then again, when they got to first class, what would their excuse for being entitled there be? That's why they need to take their child everywhere with them. It's like their license to be entitled. I'll set the scene. Middle of summer on a Saturday afternoon in a small corner store bottle shop. I was working the counter and it happened to be very busy. A teenage kid walks into the store wearing a football jersey and shorts. Obviously just came from football training. He browses the beer section for a few minutes before selecting a 6-pack and brings it up to the counter. How you going, mate? Do you have your ID on you? Kid checks his pockets but can't find his wallet, realizes he's still wearing his footy shorts.
I think my wallet is in my other pants. One sec, I'll just go grab it.
No problem. Kid walks out of the shop and I go back to serving the other customers. A few minutes later he comes back in with his mum. The kid goes to the back of the line, but the mum walks straight up to the counter and pushes in front of the person I'm currently serving. The 6-pack is still sitting on the counter.
Hi, my son left his wallet and ID at home, so I'll just pay for it for him.
Sorry, I can't sell you that beer until I see his ID.
No, you don't understand. I'm buying it.
Yes, I understand that, but I know you are buying it for him, so I can't sell it to you until I see his ID. At this time, Australia was having a huge crackdown on the underage drinking, and I can personally cop a $5,000 fine for selling alcohol to anyone underage. Since he is on our security cameras selecting the beer and bringing it to the counter first, I didn't want to risk it.
No, the beer isn't for him, it's for me. I'm drinking it.
I'm sorry, but I don't believe that. If I suspect you were buying alcohol to supply someone underage, I can still get into a lot of trouble if I sell it to you.
My son is 19 years old.
It's okay, Mum. We can just go home and get it.
He probably is, but I don't know that. I need to see his ID. I'm sorry, but I'm just doing my job.
No, you are not. You're being a jerk. My son completed his RSA, Responsible Service of Alcohol, certificate months ago.
Oh, he did he? Then he will be able to explain to you why what you're asking me to do is completely illegal. Probably not professional, but I was getting annoyed.
You're a jerkface. I'm never coming back here again.
Great, have a nice day. Entitled mum storms out while glaring at me. Poor kid flashes me an embarrassed apologetic face and follows his mum out. I feel bad for him, and she never returned. Yay! Bonus story. I also once had a woman come into the shop and inform me that she and her family just moved into the area and that she is giving me permission to sell her 16-year-old son alcohol. I tried to explain that even if he has your permission to purchase alcohol, it is still illegal for me to sell it to him. She says, "No, but it's okay because I'm giving him permission to drink." No joke. Some people are just that dumb. Generally, the requirement, at least in Australia, is if the person looks under the age of 25, they're required to ask for ID. So even if somebody's 24 years old and legally been able to drink for like 6 years, they're still going to ask you for ID. Entitled parents always take it so personally as well. As if the person behind the counter is doing a personal attack against them. I mean, the business wants their money. If it's fine to make a sale, they're going to make a sale. They didn't set up a shop with goods and services just to be withholding. Although, if he knew it was an entitled parent in the first place, maybe he would have intentionally done that. Hi gang, first time posting here. I'm Dutch and I'm on mobile. Meet the gang. Me, a handsome boy. EM, Satan's reincarnation. EK, entitled kid. NE, nice ex. AG, amazing grandma. Let's go. My grandma's neighbor has always been a problem. They think they own the street. All except one of them, my ex. She has to keep the whole family calm, including her hellspawn brother. Just recently, I was with NE and a few other people, including EK. He was talking to me, saying his sister was 2 minutes older. Now with my accent, the words B and C sound very similar in Dutch. So I said, dat kan zo zijn. At least that's how I said it. People without that accent say, dat kan zo zijn, which translates to, that can be, like, that can be true. Zijn also means see in Dutch. So he thought I said I could see that he was 2 minutes younger and flew into a big rage. He started calling his mum and crying. Later the friends and I walked to the street where my grandma lived to drop off NE. EM saw me and stepped outside screaming insanities.
Up just the person I want to talk to. How dare you say that you can see EK is younger than NE by looking at him?
I was confused. I looked at her while saying, what the heck? Then I saw EK standing behind the door. That brat called his mum to tell her about my bullying. I wanted to talk, but she cut me off saying,
You gosh darn bully. I want you to never see EK or NE again. When you see EK, I want you to walk away.
I asked how I was gonna visit AG, and she said,
That is not my business. If EK is in front of the house, you must not be able to see him, or else.
I couldn't deal with her due to a breakup between my parents that week, so I just cycled away while saying, I can't deal with this crap right now. Have a nice week. She screamed after me while I went through the back door of AG's house. I explained the situation and she called my dad. He went to EM's house too. 1 hour later, I got a message from EK.
Hi up, I just wanted to say sorry for my actions today. Say sorry to your dad too.
I don't know what my dad did, but I think he scared the crap out of EM and EK. Now I'm able to see my grandma without problems. I always wave when I step on my bike to go home. Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.